Jesus said, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats of this bread will live forever. And the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. The Jews then disputed among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day. For my flesh is true food, my blood is true drink. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood abide in me, and I in them. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so whoever eats me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven, not like that which your ancestors ate and they died, but the one who eats this bread will live forever. The Gospel of the Lord. I am certain that somebody has said to you at some point in your life, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. We know that. We are truly a people who is fixated on food one way or the other, and we know we are what we eat, and sometimes that concerns us, but it doesn't. We worry about the additives that go into our food. We worry about how our food is raised and what's put on top of it. We know we shouldn't buy Tyson chicken at the Kroger. We do it anyway. We worry about where the chicken came from. We worry about where the melon came from. We worry about how the chicken was raised because we know that something has happened to our food, and so we think of these things and we worry about them. Right? So we know that somehow these things that we take into us can become toxic. We know that these things that we take into us can affect who we are and how we are. We might have been told by our mothers, you are what you eat, and thought that was kind of funny. But we worry about it a little bit now because it just might be true. And for people who think of those things, this story is tailor-made for us. Because perhaps, maybe even more than people 2,000 years ago, maybe even more than those people, there is some aspect of that story that we can resonate to. Jesus is saying to us, in effect, you are what you eat. You become what you eat. And what you eat changes your life. And so he's saying to them, my body is food. My blood is drink. You eat of me, and your life resembles his. You eat of me, and your life becomes mine. You drink me, and your life becomes mine. Now, we know that this portion of St. John's Gospel is generally accepted. This portion of the Gospel, it has Eucharistic overtones, has communion overtones to it. It can't be, however they thought about that, it has overtones to the Eucharist in some way, shape, or form. But more than that, he's saying, you will eat my body and drink my blood. He is saying, he's not speaking in just euphemistic terms, Jesus isn't. He is saying this actually, and we know that he's saying that because of how everybody acts. Because they're all kind of, are you sure? Really? And we know that because, what are they saying then? The people say right there, who is this man to tell us to eat his body and drink his blood? And next week's lesson picks up with that. Everybody is, and the disciples say, that's not really hard to say. Because people are all kind of falling away. And you made him really upset, Jesus. It's a disgusting image that you just presented to us. And he's saying that. That's what he's saying. And in our Eucharistic theology, we sometimes kind of gloss over these things on a week-in and week-out basis. I'm going to suspect that most of us just kind of gloss over some of that because there's this real back to this whole business he's talking about. Go ahead and take a good look at the chalice when you How do you feel about that? What's really in there? Now, when children come for First Communion instruction here at St. Mark, they come to understand this. They come to know how this works. And when we come, we talk about how we speak of that Jesus is in the bread. Jesus is in the wine. And we know this not because we stick the wafer under a microscope and we see a little band in there. But we know this because this is what he promised to us. He says these things in this story that he is in there. We believe these things because of that. Okay? Now, all these children are 8, 9 years old. And understand, when I ask them the question, okay, so if Jesus is in the bread, Jesus is in the wine, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean when you leave church today at 12:05? Jesus is in the bread, Jesus is in the wine. Where is Jesus at 12:05? Well, if you're 8 or 9, you understand where Jesus is. He's in the parking lot. Because if Jesus is in there, he's now in here. And so he's standing in the parking lot at 12:05 or 12:15 or whatever that time is. And I asked, well, where is Jesus on Monday morning? Well, I guess he's on the bus going to school. And where is Jesus when you're hassling your mother or your sister? Well, yeah, I guess he's there too. And where is Jesus when you're helping your mother? Well, he's right there. And where is Jesus when you cheat on your math test? Well, yeah, I guess he's there too. See, these things are not a mystery to a 9-year-old. That what Jesus is saying is that he goes with us, that he is present inside of us, that his real, tangible presence becomes part of our real, tangible presence. This is not just a head game, but it's the real thing. That we become his body. We become his blood. That's what we're saying. That's what he's saying in all of this. We all know not all calories are created equal. We know that. Not all calories are created equal. I guarantee you can survive on cheese puffs. I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty certain. You can survive on cheese puffs. You're going to feel kind of yuck pretty soon, but you can survive on cheese puffs. But your fingers are going to turn orange and your teeth are going to get blue. And Jesus is saying, you can survive on all these things that you think you're eating. You can survive in these ways, but you're not going to live. You're not going to be alive. The key to being alive is for me to be in you. That's what he's saying in the story. The key to being alive, the key to a life is me being in you, because everything else is like eating cheese puffs for the rest of your life. Your life depends on me. That's what he's saying. And I will be in you, part of you. You will eat me. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference in everything. Because when we leave here, he leaves with us. Our lives reflect his life. Our lives become part of his life. His life becomes part of ours. So that wherever we are, and whatever it is that we're doing, it is his presence that is revealed. Whatever it is that we do and we're about, it is the presence of Jesus Christ who is revealed into this world. Whatever it is that we are, that we feel that we are called to, it is the presence of Jesus that is called to those things. We become what we eat. His life becomes ours. It's a simple statement, but there are admittedly times when we all kind of go, "Ooh." Because it's better to have our life. It's better to have our things. But still, when we leave here, I'll tell you, and any 9 or 10-year-old in this parish will tell you that when you leave here and are standing in the parking lot, Jesus is standing there. When you go to your home today, Jesus goes to your home. When you go to work or to school tomorrow, Jesus goes to those places. When you cheat on your math test, Jesus goes with you. It matters what you eat. It matters what you do with your life. It matters who you are. May God bless you and be with you and be present with you, and may you know that presence as you leave this place